Hi guys, listening to Ebird Online, and I'm back with another review from before the 90 days, and this is season 4, episode 4, Baby Be Mine. And today I'm going to be talking to you about Darcey and Tom, Avery and Ash, and not forgetting Lisa and Usman. If you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at mbird99. And if you guys check out my community tab, you'll realise that I've just got back from holiday, so I'm running a little bit behind, but I'm on lockdown now for a little while, so I have time to completely catch up. So let's get to it. First up, we're going to talk about Darcey and Tom. And Darcey's with one of her friends and her sister Stacey, and they decide to go for a day at the spa. And of course, it takes about 20 seconds before talk turns to Tom. And Stacey couldn't wait to say, Florian's been looking on the internet and he found these pictures of Tom with another woman. Well, at least we no longer have to listen to, you love Tom and Tom loves you. And there's just something about the way that Stacey's looking like, oh my god, typical Darcey. And it was quite amusing because just a couple of weeks ago I read a headline that Florian has been caught cheating again as well. So Stacey, those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And Darcey says, he keeps texting me but I'm ignoring him. I'm sure he knows that I know, but I'm not prepared to say anything. Why not, Darcey? So you can string out this ridiculous storyline for another season? I think it is. And her friend tells production, this relationship is so effed up. They literally can't get on together, but they also can't break away from each other. No, you're right, they can't break away from each other. And the reason they can't break away from each other is because they're never together. Tom lives in England, she lives in America. They've both blocked each other on social media. They don't speak on the phone, and they never ever see each other. So it would be really, really difficult to break away from each other when you're actually not together. And just so everyone knows, the Ebird can't be with Idris Elba, but neither can I break away from him. You see where I'm coming from? There's nothing here, and we all know it. It's ridiculous. And then Darcey tells the girls that Tom wants to meet her in New York, and she said, I don't want to go and meet him so he can just throw this in my face. Then Darcey, don't meet him. Darcey, actually take the bull by its horns and say, Tom, I don't want to go out with you anymore. You're an idiot. You've always been an idiot, and you always will be an idiot. And the only thing breaking the monotony of the idiocy is the lies. Goodbye. That's all you got to do. It's so simple. If anything, Darcey, private message me Tom's number and I'll tell him for you. It's that simple. And Stacey says, Tom's just making a fool of my sister and Florian's making a fool of you. But by the end of the conversation, Darcey, for some unknown reason, decides, that's it, I'm going to go for me. I'm going to empower myself and I'm going to face Tom head on and listen to what he's got to say. I really don't know why. And that's where we leave this uninteresting so-called relationship this week. So guys, tell me what you think. How long do you think this so-called relationship can limp along for? The producers really are stretching it with this one. And next up, we're going to talk about Ashe and Avery. So we first meet up with this couple when Avery's just disembarking the plane. And as she's walking through the airport, she's thinking, she's contemplating, she's worrying. I slept for like 2 hours on the plane and I started playing the whole scenario in my head and I started getting nervous. And she was worried about what happens if she smells after the flight or if she looks terrible, what's going to happen? Well, as long as Ash can still get his green card, I think everything's going to be just fine, Avery. It's going to be just fine. And crazy Coke-Eyes Ash is waiting for her in the airport and he's wearing skin-tight jeans and a leather jacket. Ashley describes him as smoking hot. Ebird describes him as an extra from Greece, one of the weird-looking ones at the back. And Avery reminds us they've been dating for 9 months. And Avery, no, you haven't. You've been dating for 9 seconds. That's how long you've just met each other. Dating means you have to actually see each other. You cannot date online. It's not possible. And she says they've had an extreme connection. And they've also had 3 extreme disconnections. And on each and every one, you've managed to have a breakup in this so-called relationship. And Avery once again tells us because Ash is a manipulative relationship coach, he knows the right things to say, and so he's got an advantage. He's got an advantage because you don't have the brains you were born with. But even I've got to admit, when they do finally meet each other, they embrace in the airport, and they have a little smooch and a little kiss, and it does seem as if they have got very good chemistry in person. So who knows, it might work. If it turns out that the whole world is wrong, and that Ash isn't a manipulative little MF, I guess they could have a good thing going. And then Ash confirms this even more by saying the chemistry is absolutely undeniable and Ash looks way, way better in real life. And I gotta say, they do look very good together. And then Avery says that Ash is everything she wants in a guy and more. That's quite interesting. So you wanted a divorcee who's prepared to either take his kid with him to America and therefore deprive his child of a relationship with his mum, or leave his kid in Australia and therefore not have a proper relationship with him. You wanted somebody who's a relationship coach but is only capable of coaching single women. And you wanted somebody that you split up with, on average once every 3 months, and that's when you spend no time together. And you wanted somebody that you don't actually trust, because he doesn't even accept that you are his girlfriend when his clients asked. Is that everything you wanted, Avery? You're a very good looking girl. You should want more. And they go to get into Ash's car, and Avery says, oh my god, it's so weird that you drive on the right hand side of the car. It feels so strange. Avery, I'll have you know that this is the correct side to drive on. And no matter what the rest of the world does, this is the way things should be done. And I think all my UK subscribers will agree. But it doesn't take long for Ash to start turning on the bullshit. And he tells Avery, your hands are so soft and so nurturing. And he's using those manipulative words again. And Avery returns the compliment. She tells Ash, your hands are really soft as well. That's because he's never done a day's work in his life. It's also because he's massaging different biatches each and every night. Those essential oils work wonders. So Ash explains to Avery that they won't be staying at his place that he shares with his brother, but they'll be staying at an Airbnb. Oh right, so the beautiful modern flat that we saw last week was indeed not your property, Ash. What a surprise. Ash is even more fake than I imagined. And in a sneak preview for next week, we discover that Ash is actually made of Play-Doh. And then Ash tries the age-old trick of giving people the option between two options, neither of which they want. So he goes into his flat with Avery and is showing around, and they go into the bedroom and he says, well, this is where we're going to sleep for the next 2 weeks. Do you want to sleep on that side or that side? And for the first time I say well done to Avery, because she says, I'm going to sleep in here and you will sleep in the second bedroom. And Ash looks a little upset that his plan has been thwarted, but he had kind of a wry smile, so I think he knew very well they weren't going to sleep together immediately. And Avery says, well, we'll see if you can migrate over in time to my room. And Ash said, migrate? Yes, Ash, migrate. It's a very apt word. You migrated from Mauritius to Australia, and you're hoping to migrate from Australia to America. And Ash said, I feel like you're talking about a bird. No, a Mauritian. And then yet again Ash repackages things. I understand why Avery doesn't want to sleep with me on the first night. That's fair enough. She didn't say the first night or the second. She just said she wants to build a connection before you sleep together. And then Ash very slyly lets us know that as a relationship coach, he knows how to build an emotional connection, and that's what women want, and that's what he's going to do. So we should all be cognizant of this. He's not just trying to find out what pleases Avery, and he's not just eager to find out more about her or what she's like or get more of a take on her personality. He wants to provide her with what she needs so she can provide him with sex. Ugh, I really don't like Ash, I really don't. But guys, it's the very next thing that lets me know that Ash is a complete and utter amateur and also an imbecile. So he goes to present the flowers to Avery that he bought for her last week. And if you guys remember, I did make a comment at the time that he said this is to signify life and love. And I found it quite strange that you're buying flowers which have been cut and thus are dead to signify life. But anyway, I digress. When she opens the box, what's in the box? Black roses, black. And Ash tells her, it's because I know you love the colour black. I think everybody in the world knows that black roses signify death. And I've always wanted to know what it was that Ash studied that makes him such a great relationship coach and that gives him such great knowledge about human psyche. And honestly, I would not at all be surprised if whatever degree or qualification he has, it's some sort of online bogus degree or bogus qualification. Because who in the world would ever buy somebody black roses? Who? Literally who? I'm really racking my brains and I don't think I know a person that stupid. And Ash tells production, yeah, I'm aware of what black roses symbolise. But from darkness comes the light. Does it, Ash? Well, I'm hoping that Avery has a light bulb moment about you, and I hope it's sooner rather than later. And then Ash presents Avery with some sort of leather bracelet that says Ash and Avery on. And Avery tells us she was so overwhelmed when she first saw these bracelets that she called the whole thing off because Ash was so deeply into her. Avery, they probably cost about $30 each, if that. I don't know what you're overwhelmed by, but it seems to the Ebird that it's by far too little. You're a very good looking girl. Have more faith in yourself. And then right at the end, a really sinister thing happens because Avery starts talking to production and she says, the reason that I called the relationship off was because I wasn't ready to receive love. And it's as if she's starting to speak in Ashe speak. And I actually think that Ashe is reprogramming Avery. Mayday, mayday to Avery's parents. You've got to get her away from this guy. He's reprogramming her. She's starting to talk the balderdash that he talks. And that's everything from this couple this week. So guys, what do you think? Now we've seen Ashe in person, do you think he's shady? Do you think he's got two brain cells to rub together? Who would give black roses? What's your take on that? I literally don't understand him, and I absolutely don't believe he has any background at all in psychology. If he did, that move would never have been made. So let me know what you think in comments down below. And finally, the one you've all been waiting for, Lisa and Usman. So we first see Lisa and Usman this week, and they're post-coital, laying in bed. And Lisa helpfully explains to us that last night one thing led to another, and bada bing bada boom, they made love. And guys, I've got a feeling that Lisa calls it made love and Usman calls it done the deed. And Lisa goes on to further explain that there are many cultural differences when having sex between Nigerians and Americans. No one pressed her for any further information, but she helpfully volunteered that Usman didn't know what oral sex was. And Lisa tells us she had to teach him. And Lisa, at this point I'd like to put to you an alternate perspective. He's not into you. That's why he didn't offer to go downtown. Also, Lisa, remember that you have a 15-year-old daughter who's presently cringing at home. And I honestly think you're probably traumatising her with your revolting revelations. So Usman tells us she's almost, well, in fact, yes, she is. She's 70% good of what I expected. 70%? Oh well, I guess it's not 55%. Hey, Nicole. And when they got out of bed, Lisa looked Usman in the eye and she asked him if he enjoyed the first time of him ever having sex without a condom. And Usman gave another one of his long hesitations. I'll answer if I may be so bold. No, he didn't enjoy it. He didn't enjoy it at all. And next they decide to have breakfast, and she's having breakfast with his two friends, the same guys that came back from the airport with them. And the friends explain to us that Lisa has to meet the expectations of Usman's mum. And they say she's both dramatic and strict. And Lisa's very worried, and she tells us his mother believes that she's going to bring him to America to be a slave. There's a word missing from that sentence somewhere. Oh, that's it. Sex. You're bringing him to America to be a sex slave. I actually think that's extremely likely, Lisa. And it transpires that Usman has lied to Lisa, because when they were talking on the phone, Usman intimated that even if his mother didn't like her, they'd still get married anyhow. But now it transpires that if his mother doesn't like Lisa, it's a deal breaker and they won't be getting married. So in other words, they won't be getting married. And Lisa's both aggrieved and upset at this. And Lisa starts shouting and says, we will be getting married with or without Usman's mum's blessing. And I don't know what you guys think, but I can't help at this point that Lisa is unnecessarily and incessantly bolshy. Why say we're getting married with or without her blessing? A normal person would say, I can't wait to meet her. I think we're going to get on really well, and I'm prepared to allay any fears that she has that I'm about to use her son as a sex slave, even though I am actually about to use her son as a sex slave. And his friends are dubious about this whole thing, and they say when your mum says no, it means no in our culture. And when Lisa questions Usman about this, Usman sort of went, we'll have to wait and see. And so Lisa does what Lisa does best. She storms off and she tells us, I've got really high anxiety. So you should have, Lisa. And you can tell she just wants to force this marriage through, regardless of whether she gets on with Usman and regardless of what his family think. And all of this just goes to prove to me that Lisa is not in love with Usman at all. Most people who are in love want to ingratiate themselves with their friends and family. Not Lisa, she doesn't even care. And loads of people have been comparing her to Angela. And whilst yes, Angela is very rude to Michael's friends, I can say they've also been slightly rude to her as well, so it's gone both ways. But I've found Angela thus far quite respectful to Michael's family, and especially his mum, and she does make an effort with her, which is more than I can really say about Lisa. And next time we see this couple, they're packing up in the hotel and they're going to his house in Kaduna. And Lisa's speaking to Usman like he's an unruly child. Hurry up, stop singing. And she's got an awful tone when she talks to him. She's so bossy. And they get in the car and his phone's ringing. And Lisa says he has too many female fans. They're driving me absolutely crazy. And she says, someone's blowing up your phone. Who is it? Somebody's rang once, Lisa. Blowing up somebody's phone is when you ring every hour on the hour, or every 5 or 10 minutes for at least 3 or 4 times in a row. And she asks Usman, who's on the phone? And when Usman looks at the phone, he says, oh, I don't know the number. It must be one of my fans calling me. Usman, however could that be? How could one of your fans just get your number? Is your number in directory inquiries? Can we call 411 and just get your number? I wasn't aware you could just ring celebrities. But in fact, now I'm in possession of that information, I think I might call one of the celebrities that I love. Bear with me, guys. I'm just on the phone to Kanye. Oh, well, he picked up, but he's a little bit busy at the moment, he says. I'll bell him back later. And when Lisa arrives at Usman's house, she's unsurprisingly extremely underwhelmed. The house is quite small, and she looks around it as if she's standing in a public restroom on a park in a bad area. And I really don't know what she's expecting, but I actually think Usman's house is quite nicely decorated, and it's quite nice. And obviously you realise you're not going out with somebody who's extremely wealthy. But it's when she goes into the bathroom that Lisa's absolutely surprised. And there's a bucket on the floor, and Usman says, you use this bucket and you wash yourself from head to toe. Usman, stop hamming it up, because when I look to the right I can see there's a shower on the wall, so if you want to wash yourself head to toe, you can wash yourself in the shower. What's the big deal? And then Lisa says, this is not how I imagined a celebrity living. No, Lisa, it's not. That's because you're not going out with a celebrity. As I pointed out last week, you're not the partner of a celebrity either, now are you? Lisa, you're very lucky that Usman's poor, otherwise you wouldn't be in a position to teach him how to go downtown. And just before they go, Usman tells us that he's realising Lisa's going to be a handful. Yes, she is, Usman, and in more than one way. And that's where we leave this couple this week. So guys, as usual, let me know what you think. 1, do you think that Lisa's going to make any effort with Usman's mum? I don't think she is. I think she's going to be a little bit of a ball ache right from the word go. Do you think that Usman didn't know what oral sex was? And do you think it's his first time ever having sex without a condom? You know very well what I think. The whole thing is a load of horse crap. But let me know your thoughts down below. And just before I go, if you haven't done so yet, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Just press that red subscribe button to make the eBird a very happy eBird. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at mbird99, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks so much for listening. You've been listening to eBird Online. Ciao for now.